Hello, welcome to part 3, the final part of the Montesa impala, something different. Now, as you can see, it's finished, all done. There's a few little problems what's gone on. So we're going to start the episode on with a carburetor. Now, I mentioned that we was going to put some oils in. We've had a bit of a problem locating a trans oil, which is a 10W30 trans oil. So I've used some 530 just to get us up and running. We'll have a little bit of a clutch drag, but it ain't going to do any damage. But we can change that later on. So it's very difficult trying to source parts over here. Well, I find it anyway, unless you can use the Amazon and get it delivered by Amazon. Anyway, we'll leave that there for now. So it's finished. I need to do a few more things on it, which I'll explain. I hope you enjoy this episode on the finale, and let's see what I can come up with next. And like I say, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, like, comment, whatever. We're just learning as we go along on this. But once again, watch and enjoy. Thank you. I'm just in the middle of sorting the carburetor out at the moment. I've had a few niggles, side stand angle. It was falling off the side stand. Add all to that. Got that sorted. We've had a problem with the throttle cable as well. That's been exceedingly close. The old one had a little tiny brass nipple in there with a screw, and it was a bugger to get out, but we've managed to do that. So as we've got throttle working now, the carb's not too bad, to be honest with you. I've managed to salvage the original gasket, so there's a bit of Holomar blue on the gasket for that, which will work great. So what's left, frontward guard, rewiring, which is only one wire. I'm just going to use a non-battery system because I don't need any lights or anything. Shouldn't be going out of a night. So as we're just going straight from the alternator to the coil to earth, but what we'll do is just conceal a switch somewhere so as we can switch it off without having to stall it. I think that's about it really. There's a front wheel. The brake seems to have seized up on the front wheel. So we've got to pull the front wheel out again, but I need to pull it out of the front mudguard. So all I can say is big thanks for watching. I hope it's some interest to people. Okay, we've stripped the carburetor down. We haven't got such luxury of ultrasonic cleaners over here. I'm not too fussed about the outside of the carburetor. One of the jets, pilot jet, was blocked. Main jet's fine, that's cleaned out. The fuel valve thing's working correctly. We just test that by just putting a bit of air down, and we can work that. That's fine. We've cleaned the gauze out. Not the best of things for dusty conditions in Spain, but I shall probably slightly oil that anyway. So what we're going to do now is just going to put the float bowl back on, and then assemble this, and then fit it to the bike, and that's another step further to completion. So as what we've done here, we've drilled a small hole into the frame, and we're going to thread the cable from here all the way down the tube, out the way and out of there with this tiny little grommet, and then we're going to put a concealed switch in for the cables. That'll tidy it all up anyway. As you can see, the cables here from the generator, they're absolutely stiff, brittle, breaking, so we'll get rid of them out the connector block. And we're just going to bring 2 up, and we're going to have one as a spare just in case. We only need 1 to the coil and to earth. That's enough to get the spark and get the motor running. So we need to make a chain guard, because I'm not a big fan of open chains on bikes, and I just think it just looks a little bit better. So we found limited resources of 2mm aluminium. So once again, CAD, cardboard aided design, and we're just going to knock this up out of a little bit of sheet alley, which I've brought with me, and then I think we're going to spray that black on there. I think that'll look better than seeing the actual chain. So let's get on with that then. Right then, where are we with this? Well, we've done the chain guard. That's not too bad. I could have improvised and gone a bit further over here. However, it's only the resources I've got with what I found. So we're on a budget, remember. Kickstarter, well, we lost the ball bearing in the Kickstarter, but we've used the old trick by shoving a rubber neoprene seal between there and there. That'll stop it rattling about. So we left the Kickstarter the original silver colour just to break up the black a little bit. What we're waiting for, we're waiting for the HT lead. I'm fetching that Monday. And also we've got the front mudguard on and got that sorted. What we've got to do now is connect front brake up. Rear brake's working fine. And then we can get this the tank on, get some fuel in it, and let's see what it's like. I don't know. I just can't get nothing done with this little cat. He just jumps up on me, just wants to play all the while. Well, here it is then. The Montesa Impala, something different. Now, it's not 100% finished. It works and it'll do the job what it was made for. There's a couple of little problems what I've had with it, which I'll bring the camera in a minute and show you why. One thing, we've had a problem with our Indian fuel cap, Montesa, Aston Martin, whichever you want to call it. There's a tiny little thumb press in the top of the tank for it to seat. Now, it was working before the tank was painted, but in the joy of a painter sees a dent, does not know what it's for, it's gone filled in with filler. So as I removed the spring clip to try and sort it out, and it doesn't lock. So meanwhile, we've shaped a thick piece of cable tie which pulls it in and it locks it, so there's no fuel going over the place. So new Monza cap required. The next thing is foot pegs. Now, what I'm going to do now is bring you closer into it now so you can have a look. So then, I've had a lot of different people commenting about the exhaust. It's no good, it won't create back pressure, it'll burn the seats, blah, 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 blah. However, it's a TY 175 or 250 silencer, very small bore, it's well packed and baffled. So from this size of pipe is the original pipe diameter, slightly smaller internal than the original Impala. Now this goes into a cone which creates back pressure. Now, as far as I'm concerned, and all the years experience I've had with exhaust, this will be fine for what I want it for. Now the next gripe I've got is, don't ever buy any foot pegs off eBay. £14 for 4 foot pegs. They look great, but if you look closely, I've had to weld them up. They're still no good, so I've got to get some decent foot pegs off a Japanese bike. If you've got some, let me know. Something like XS 650 flip up pegs or something. You can see I've bent this one trying to kickstart it over, caught it with my foot, and that's bent. So that's another thing I'm not happy with. Now, as you can see, I've left these on the frame. There's 2 points, both sides the same side. Now, resources over here is not the best, but I have got a nice piece of 2mm aluminium at home, so I'm going to do a CAD design there, and then going to bring 2 panels in both sides, just to take that bit of a frame out there, which will be sprayed matte black, So that should be good. The other thing was I could do with a kickstart rubber, and I'm sure I can get like a BSA one or something. I can shrink on there. I've tried a bit of shrink wrap, but after a few kicks it starts sliding off. I'm saying that I should have put some dimples in it, but apart from that, everything is hunky-dory. Chain card's all right. I might even make a little bobbin just to lift the chain up a little bit to run on the bobbin. It's not touching the frame as yet, but no doubt it will do after a few rides. And I think I'm going to put a number on the front, stick a bit of a number on the front just to make the front look a little bit more unplain as it looks. But all being said, it was a real budget bike. I mean, we've done a breakdown. We costs like painting of the tank, $325. We've had the seat repaired, $65. Foot pegs, 4 of 14 quid, no good. Side stand, 20 quid. 2 mud guards for it, 14 quid in steel. So I sat down and worked it all out the other night, and it was 1,280 pence. Now there's a bit of a drink here now everywhere, and some paint what I found. And if you've got a bike there for 1,500 quid, under 1,500 quid, what'll work, and you can have some fun on. So I'm just going to have a little blip now, see if it'll start. Oh, the other thing was the clutch. I was after a trans oil, 1030 clutch oil. I couldn't get none, so I've put a 530 engine oil in the clutch. It's a bit, ropey. It does the job, but that'll be changed straight away. So it shouldn't hurt it too much because I'm not giving it any stick anyway. I'm just going to have a little ride down the road yonder and see how she goes. By the way, I think this is a little bit of a horse riding hat. Not sure, but it's fine for over here. So let's see if it goes. That's another gripe of mine. Gears are on the wrong side, and we've got like an Honda C50, C90 skip through gear lever down and back, and I just can't work it out. So I'm going to put a single gear lever on that then, and I can work it out because it's so confusing. I was probably pulling away in third then on that, but it does get a bit of a move on. Anyway, all I can say is thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, message me, do whatever you want. But if you know anybody who's after these sorts of little projects like I'm getting into, I've just brought another one while I've been here, a little Gilera 50, that'll be interesting. And then we've still got the quad engine to do, and obviously when I get back to the UK I've got to crack on with that Sunbeam Tiger recreation. I must got to crack on with that. But once again, thank you for watching. Bye.